Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another PC Boys podcast. I am your host, Logan Locke. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Venom 3 or Venom The Last Dance trailer has been released the other day, and I originally was going to get this podcast out yesterday, but I had some email work that I had to do for the radio station, so that obviously took priority since that is my new job, but here we are nonetheless a day later, but it also gave me some more time to look through the trailer in-depthly and do a little bit of research, getting the images and everything that I wanted to be able to discuss with you guys. So we're not going to discuss the trailer in its entirety because some of the things, in my opinion, are not that important or crucial to talk about. So we're going to be talking about the things that are in the trailer that I noticed, things in terms of the leaks that seem to be true based upon what the trailer showed, and just going over the most crucial moments of the trailer. And then we can, of course, speculate from that point on. But before we get started, as per usual, I have the link tree in the description down below. Go follow our Instagram and Twitter, which is where we are the most active, as well as that, join the Discord if you want to be a part of the community. And, of course, join the Rumble if you are into political, social content. Normally, that's what I talk about on there. But if not, hey, just stay here on the main channel, talk Marvel and video games and nerd shit. All right. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So, the first major thing that I wanted to talk about from the trailer is the big bads, right? So, in this movie, it seems like there's going to be three enemy factions. The Jury, obviously, we had heard in the leaks and stuff that Toxin, aka Patrick Mulligan, was going to have like his own army of symbiotes and stuff. But here's the one thing in the trailer that was thrown out of nowhere: the Xenophage. Now, I completely, honestly forgot about the Xenophage because it was one of the, I guess, parts of the Venom comics that were very obscure. But basically, in layman's terms, the Xenophage are these monsters that I believe are home, or their home is on the Clintar's homeworld. And they eat symbiotes. And if they're not of the symbiote's homeworld Clintar, they are an alien species, a sentient alien species that I believe existed before the Clintar. But anywho, it doesn't really matter. The point is that, they are aliens that eat symbiotes. That's really all you have to know about them. Now, the very interesting thing is, though, Venom states in the trailer that his home has found him. And if these are from the planet Clintar, there's a few things that I wonder that they could be doing. And of course that would be in regards to Null, but I think I'll wait towards the end of the, podcast or the latter half before I really go into that. But, so of course here, on my Twitter, I posted a lot of pictures. But so obviously in the trailer, this is what the Xenophage is going to look like. And this is the picture of the comic version, just so you guys, have two different versions. If you click on each image, obviously it'll blow up to the full image. But so that's the first enemy faction. The second thing, the Jury seem to be making the Life Foundation symbiotes. So for those of you that don't know, obviously in the first Venom movie, there was the Life Foundation with Carlton Drake. However, in the comics, the Life Foundation created all, Riot, Lasher, Phage, Agony, and Scream, which I'll pull up the pictures of in just a minute. But in this movie, it seems like the Jury is going to be going around and collecting samples of symbiotes and using Patrick Mulligan's Toxin, because in the, trailer he's captured and being held at that facility. They're probably taking offspring of Toxin to make these other Life Foundation symbiotes from the comics. So, I originally talked about Lasher in my prior podcast episode. And of course, that would be this green symbiote down here on the bottom left. To the right, this would be Phage. Phage is normally anywhere from yellow or orange in terms of his color scheme. Agony is more of like a magenta, purplish pink character to the top right. Riot, who we've already seen, is in the middle. And Scream is on the very far upper left. Now, the thing is with Scream, I believe she's being played by Juno Temple's character. I believe that is who's going to become Scream, from the leaks and stuff that we were hearing. But, so basically these if this is all true, these are the symbiotes that we have in the movie. We have Venom, obviously. We have Toxin, obviously. We have Scream, Agony, Lasher, and Phage. That's 6 different symbiotes. Now, that doesn't mean all these symbiotes are going to take on a physical form and bond to a host. But I think at the very least, Agony, Lasher, and Scream we will see. I don't know about Phage. Phage is one of the more obscure ones. I want to see Agony personally. And there is some credence as to, of course, in some of the other pictures that I'm going to show, to who I think's who. Let's see here. All right. So this is one of the screenshots I took of the trailer. So this middle one right here, I think is Scream. I think the color scheme is very obvious. The one to the right, I'm having a hard time if that's going to be Lasher or if that's going to be Agony, because part of it looks green, but then the top part of it looks like purplish. But of course, I have another screenshot from later on in the trailer. And then to the far left here, I mean, this looks like it could be Phage. However, my issue with that is that if we go to the next image, this one over here looks like Phage because this one's just solid yellow. So that's where I'm a little bit confused as to which symbiote is which, and I think a lot of it has to do with like these orange lighting that we have on each symbiote canister. I think that definitely makes it a lot harder to guess as to what is what. But going even further to that, I'm going to scroll up here to this image. So this is a brief image that you see later on in the trailer, but if you look very closely, this symbiote in the back, which looks like it would be the furthest on the left from the previous pictures that I showed, is green. You can clearly see here green tendrils, right? And then to the right, you clearly see purple tendrils. So maybe when they grow the symbiotes, maybe throughout the movie, their colors and stuff, start to fully form or whatnot or come into play. But from these two images right here, it's very obvious that Lasher and Lasher and Agony, their color schemes are clearly present here. And we know Scream's going to be in the movie already. Phage is the only one I'm a little bit uncertain of. So I'm very confident we'll at least see Agony, Lasher, and Scream. My question is, if I had to take a guess, this woman here will probably get matched with Agony. Now, the thing with Lasher is in the previous podcast episode that I talked about, I said that Lasher might be attached to a dog because he was attached to a dog in the comic books. I don't think that that's going to happen. But who knows? It's Sony. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen. But yeah, so that's basically the big symbiote reveals that I saw in the trailer. Obviously, is the color schemes are there for all of the Life Foundation symbiotes. The question is which ones are actually going to, form and take hold. Then in this section, this is just a simple brief look at the jury. So the jury in the comics is a lot more technologically advanced. But this is what the jury seems like they're going to look like in this movie, which is, I mean, I wouldn't even say that their suits look super advanced. It just kind of looks like the helmets are a little more advanced, if anything. But in the comics, this is what the jury looks like. These exosuits and stuff back here. Now, this guy here, Orwell Taylor, that is the character that the actor who played Baron Mordo in the MCU is going to be playing. So basically, just it's going to be race swapped, obviously. So in the comics he's white, and then in the movie he's going to be black. Not really a big deal considering that this guy isn't a huge character in Marvel in general. Obviously you can see Eddie Brock here, but this was a part of like a Venom solo storyline. In the comic books, his son was killed by Venom, hence why he sends a jury after them. But in the movie, his son's going to be killed by Carnage during his prison breakout. So that's kind of like his whole motive for going after symbiotes, or even maybe creating them. So that's essentially what's going on in terms of Baron Mordo, if you will. It's not Baron Mordo from the MCU. He's just playing same actor playing a different character in this universe. Another thing, too, that people were getting confused about, which I don't understand why people were, is there's a scene in the bar that Eddie Brock was teleported out of in the MCU, and that same Mexican guy that was doing the bartending. He's in the Sony universe. Like it's a different variant of him. He looks similar, except he looks more grungy. Same shirt. His hair's down as opposed to in the MCU when it was up. And you have Taylor go in and he sucks up a piece of the symbiote with like the syringe, and people are like, well, wasn't that part of the symbiote left in the MCU? What probably happened was Eddie Brock came back into this universe and dropped another piece of the symbiote on the table. That would be my guess. Some people were saying that they were trying to retcon the MCU, and I was like, I don't think that that's what they were trying to do. I think they're just going to have Venom spawning a bunch of droplets everywhere, so that way they can, of course, create more symbiotes. And then lastly, so these pictures is very interesting. So first of all, this actor right here is the Lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Yeah, a lot of confusion among most fans as to, is this Dr. Connors prior to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, happening? He has both arms, obviously, so this would be, prior to losing his arm. We don't know. This kid, however, is said to be potentially a young Peter Parker. And in this picture, of course, just a better image of this young kid. So in the last podcast episode that I did as well, we were talking about the plot leak. Essentially, you're going to have the jury, Patrick Mulligan and his symbiote versus Venom, and Venom would have to protect like a 10-year-old Peter Parker. That kid right there in those two shots is said to be the 10-year-old Peter Parker. Who knows? We know that there will be a Peter Parker in this movie. Will he be 10 years old, or will he actually be, fully adult? Obviously, we won't know till we watch the movie, but if I had to take a guess from the plot leaks and them focusing on this kid here's the thing, right? It's not like they focused on it for one shot in the trailer. He's in multiple shots, which means that this kid clearly plays a bigger role in this movie than, originally anticipated. So for me personally, yes, I think that there is more things that are not pointing to Peter Parker's going to be 10 years old in this movie, and this is going to be the kid that is Peter Parker. Even though, as of right now, it's not confirmed, that's what I would most likely say. Now, based upon all of the major crucial pieces to this upcoming Venom movie, what do I personally think is going to happen and how things are going to play out? Well, obviously Venom's movie is going to start off in Mexico right after the events of No Way Home. He's going to take out those cartel members, release the dogs, and of course he's going to have to find a way back to, San Francisco or whatnot. There is a scene on the plane, obviously in the trailer, where he's fighting a xenophage, and I don't know if that's on his way back to America or if this is him on his way to Las Vegas. I have no idea. I could honestly not tell you at what point in time that takes place. All that I can tell you is that Venom is going to, of course, have to go back into the States. We know he's going to end up in Vegas, that Area 51 base. And ultimately, I think the jury is going to try to capture him quite a few times before he's actually captured. Because in the trailer, when he is captured, he has the tuxedo on. So I think, they're going to come close to capturing him, but they don't. And then it doesn't happen until probably after the Las Vegas fight. But then again, maybe it happens beforehand. We don't really know. All that we know is when he's captured, he does have the tux on. But yeah, in terms of the Spider-Man stuff, we don't know. I'm just going to assume it's going to be the 10-year-old Peter Parker that's been in the plot leaks, because the jury and the other symbiotes are all here, like in the plot leaks. So a lot of things are lining up for me to believe that that's how all that's going to play out in terms of Spider-Man and, the jury and whatnot. To be honest with you, I think the jury isn't even going to be the big bad. I think that the xenophage from the home world of the symbiotes is going to be like the major big bad of the movie, or the big monster. Maybe all the symbiotes will team up to fight the xenophage. I have no idea. But let's now talk about Null. Now, I did not add a picture on my Twitter feed of Null, but obviously if you want to look up Null, you can. It's Knull, the K silent. And Null is the god of the symbiotes on the symbiote homeworld of Clintar. He also is the one fun fact, that gave God, or Gore the God Butcher, the Necrosword, because in the comics it is a symbiote. So, yeah, it's kind of funny how all that works. But, so Null is an Avengers level threat, is the best way I can put it. He is very powerful, super powerful, and like I said, he controls all the symbiotes, which, you know, if you know what dealing with one symbiote's like, especially like Carnage and stuff, a planet full of them, yeah, that's too much to handle. But for those of you that didn't know, so when I originally saw the Xenophage in the trailer, I was like, wait, are they trying to do like symbiote dragons, but really doing a bad job at doing a dragon? Because in the comics, of course, you know, with like, you know, the planet symbiotes and the multiverse being invaded by a bunch of, or all the symbiotes, especially in the Spider-Gwen universe, when she was Gwenom at the time, there were symbiote dragons all over the place. So I was wondering if they were doing a really shitty interpretation of that. And then I was like, oh yeah, there was a monster that did eat symbiotes, but I fucking forgot the name of it. So I had to look up the name, to remember what the Xenophage were. Like, I remember them going after the symbiotes, but I didn't remember their names at all. So I put in so many search results for like alien that ate symbiote or symbiote eating alien. Like, I put in so many fucking search results before I finally got the Xenophage to pop up. But I do remember the Xenophage. I just forgot the fucking name. But yeah, so ultimately that's what it looks like. It looks like the jury is going to be going after Eddie Brock, you know, capturing, you know, parts of the symbiote that Eddie drops, and of course, you know, taking some from Toxin as well, creating their own symbiotes. If I had to guess, that the jury is creating symbiotes so they can fight against the Xenophage. That would be my guess as to why there's symbiotes there, right? Obviously, Orwell Taylor's not going to be a big fan of the symbiotes because Carnage did end up killing his son. But I think that the overall goal of this foundation out there in the middle of, you know, the desert, let's just call them Area 51, if you will. It looks like that they're trying to make symbiotes so they can actually fight back against this army. Because there is a, you know, scene where Orwell is talking with, you know, Juno Temple's character, and is basically saying there's an army coming that we can't beat. And I'm assuming that that's why he's going to explain that's why they need these symbiotes that they're creating. That would be my guess. But also I'm very interested to see where Toxin goes. There's quite a few different ways that this could go, right? Spider-Man wise, all these other symbiotes being added, the Xenophage. There's a lot of ways that they could take this. I think we're still supposed to be getting, at least to my knowledge, Venom's supposed to appear in Secret Wars, Tom Hardy's Venom. And if that's the case, I don't think Venom's going to die in this movie, or Tom Hardy. But I am interested to see how the Toxin, you know, area plays out and these other symbiotes. Because, to be quite honest with you guys, the Xenophage isn't, like, the thing I'm excited about. I'm excited to see, you know, if we get Lasher on screen, if we get Agony, especially Agony. I don't know why Agony's always been, like, one of my top symbiotes, even though she's a very obscure character. But yeah, seeing Phage, Toxin on screen, like seeing all those symbiotes is kind of like what I'm most excited for and what that dynamic is going to be like. And I'll be very pissed off with Sony if they add all these symbiotes, right? All of the Life Foundation symbiotes, and then they just don't do shit with them. I will be super fucking pissed if that's how they deal with it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have to talk about in terms of the Venom, The Last Dance trailer. It was a lengthy trailer. It didn't give a lot of the plot away, which I like, and there's a lot of questions and stuff to be asked, which I also like, because it, you know, allows room for us to create theories rather than basically just be able to plot out the movie from beginning to end. But, yeah, no, I thought the trailer is pretty good. I'd love to see them go rated R with this movie, especially with the head biting and stuff like that, but I doubt they will. I doubt Sony has the balls to do that, but, you know, it'd be nice if we actually got to see that. But I was very impressed with the trailer. And with I also do have to state this though. With the Venom movies, I don't expect masterpiece in terms of filmmaking. I don't expect great like quality, if you will. It's kind of like junk food action movie is what I consider Venom, but it's enjoyable junk. The best way I can describe it is Venom in the superhero genre is like Jason X of the Jason series. Like Jason X is a terrible Friday the 13th movie and a terrible Jason movie, but damn it, it is fun to watch and have a good time with. And that's kind of what the Venom movies are. And I gotta say, I love them. I love the Venom movies. They're a guilty pleasure for me. Not unlike Morbius and Madam Web, which made me bored. Well, Morbius didn't make me bored. It just made me kind of laugh with some of their, like, editing choices and running through the movie really quickly and then having, like, blood noises, but there's no, actual blood on screen, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that is all I have to say. I hope you all enjoyed. Obviously, I'll be talking more about this movie as more information comes out and the other trailers drop. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will catch you all in the next one.